Good afternoon, I'm Rob Boskamp, and you're listening to South Texas Midday. Thank you for joining me on this Tuesday, September 9th. Nueces County officials expect to recover over $2 million after a recent phishing scam. Interim County Auditor Constance Sanchez confirmed in a press conference yesterday that the county fell victim to a business email compromise scheme involving 5 separate fraudulent incidents, 3 of which resulted in financial losses. The largest transaction of just over $999,000 will be fully recovered with the assistance from Frost Bank, but may take up to 120 days before those funds are deposited back into the county's account. Another significant loss of about $937,000 remains under investigation, though officials said those funds will likely be recovered. The smallest incident involving over $56,000 has already been recovered. County officials continue to take precautionary measures such as stopping all electronic payments going into the courthouse and reverting to paper checks for all incoming payments except for payroll. The county said the attacks began in July and involved sophisticated emails that appeared to come from legitimate vendors requesting banking information changes. Corpus Christi City Council meets today at City Hall. Here's Joe Smikle with which items will be decided, including operating and capital budgets, property taxes, and fee updates.
The city will approve an operating and capital budget of a little over $760 million starting October 1st of this year. This year's operating budget includes a little over $6 million in property taxes, providing additional revenue from last fiscal year. City property taxes will increase a little less than 0.25%, providing an approximate $6 million increase in the city's operating budget for this year. Corpus Christi residents can expect slight fee increases in animal care, airport parking, waste and wastewater rates, taps, labs, construction service, and reclaimed water. Additionally, development services, fire department, parks and marina, police academy training, and rapid pavement program, along with street maintenance. Joe Smikle, KEDT News.
The Victoria County Commissioners Court continued their discussion on proposed certificates of obligation at yesterday's meeting. The court is hoping to add funds for suggested county improvements estimated at over $12 million. The county will process potential changes to the proposal by finding variations for some of the projects, in particular a new location for the elections office. The final amount of COs must be determined by final budget approval on September 29th. COs do not need voter approval unless 5% of qualified voters petition for an election for the proposed spending. The U.S. Army Corps of Engineers is asking for public comment for a SpaceX proposal to expand the existing launch pad and infrastructure at the company's Starbase Boca Chica launch site. The comment period ends September 25th, according to a public notice from the agency. The project would involve approximately 21 acres at Boca Chica, permanently impacting approximately 5.8 acres of emergent wetland and 9.65 acres of tidal flats. Aransas County recently purchased a 950-acre stretch of natural habitat called Copano Cove Ranch. The coastal ecosystem just a few miles from downtown Rockport supports over 3,000 species of plants and animals. The purchase was made possible through a $2.6 million grant from the Texas General Land Office and purchased for $2.35 million, according to KIII News. Aransas County Judge Ray Garza told KIII it took about a year and a half for the county to officially purchase property, also known to some as the Old Bailey Ranch.
I grew up here, and in the past 40 years, we've seen a lot of change. And some of those changes, a lot of development, so it's really important to me that we preserve a lot of our natural environment.
Garza said there are plans for conservation, flood control, and even creating space for the community to enjoy. After last week's announcement of a new urgent care facility coming to Aransas Pass, Tri-County EMS Executive Director Carrie DeLeon said the resource could help residents, but more is needed. DeLeon told KRAS 6 News that EMS crews are not able to take patients directly to urgent care centers, although they could still respond if a medical emergency occurred at an urgent care.
If we have a patient in cardiac arrest, the longer we take to get to the hospital, the less chance the person is to survive that event.
DeLeon said most patients are taken to facilities in the surrounding area depending on the severity of the case. Aransas Pass and surrounding areas have been without a hospital since Hurricane Harvey struck in 2017. KRGV News has confirmed that Mission City Manager Mike Perez is on paid leave. The Mission City Council will hold a meeting today with the agenda showing leaders will talk about possibly appointing an interim city manager. Perez stepped into the role last March when the previous city manager retired. Perez is no longer listed on the city's website as of yesterday. Rockport authorities are asking the Texas Rangers to assist with an investigation on an alleged physical altercation between a vocal City of Rockport critic and a city councilman following a budget workshop last week. The incident was reported on September 2nd under Rockport Police Department involving claims of assault causing bodily injury. According to the report, Andrew Kane reported that a 45-year-old man pushed him, resulting in pain, as Brad Brundrett, Ward 3 city councilman. The report mentioned Kane suffered no prior injuries and there had been no arrest or issued citation. What you feel on Mondays after late nights and drinking alcohol on the weekend might be more than mere fatigue. A new study says it may be the result of social apnea, a weekend spike in the severity of obstructive sleep apnea that can happen to anyone, not just those diagnosed with the condition. In today's Vital Signs, sleep specialist Dr. Vikas Jain tells KERA's Sam Baker why alcohol is often a contributing factor.
Well, sleep apnea is merely your airway is relaxing and you're then having diminished airflow. Alcohol by itself relaxes the upper airway, so it can put you in a position to experience sleep apnea on a given night. It doesn't mean that you will, but if you're someone who maybe already has some degree of muscle relaxation, is that extra alcohol going to just put you over the edge where now you're going to start to experience this condition? So sleep apnea is considered where you're stopping breathing 5 times every hour. Perhaps you could be someone who's stopping breathing 3 or 4 times every hour, which we would say, hey, that's within normal limits. But on nights where you're drinking now, that number increases to 9 or 10 times an hour. Now you're having apnea.
You mentioned alcohol. Are there any other things that could lead to this?
Anything that is going to contribute to muscle weakness or muscle relaxation can. So if there's medicines that patients may take more so on the weekends that relate to muscle relaxation, that can also contribute. Sometimes things that influence breathing, like if you tend to be a social smoker, that could potentially put you in a place where maybe you're not going to breathe as well on those weekend nights as you would on a weekday night.
So it's not just a case of just breaking your normal sleep schedule for a couple of days. It's what else you do during that time.
Right. So both kind of what you do during the day and then what you suffer from at night. And I think the idea behind it is because patients may be suffering from, if they have a higher degree of sleep apnea on the weekends, then the idea is, then that's going to lead you to go into the week feeling really tired. Then you're sitting there wondering, hey, I'm really tired. Maybe I should go get this checked out. But then if you test yourself on a weeknight, that might miss the condition because it's really only present on the weekend.
So what are the warning signs people should look for when it comes to social apnea?
One is, are you being told that you're snoring more on those particular nights? Do you feel like you're waking up more often, having more disrupted sleep? Do you feel a bit more tired, sleepy throughout the day? Do you kind of notice that? Let's say if maybe if Friday, Saturday were these social nights, do you tend to notice those symptoms more on a Saturday and Sunday and Monday, kind of entering into the week? Those are often signs of disrupted sleep and can be helpful in then determining if maybe you need a more extensive evaluation.
What are the main health concerns of social apnea?
What happens with sleep apnea is that your airway is narrowing, it's affecting your airflow, and that in turn then affects how much oxygen you're getting. And so if you're having repeated bouts of low oxygen throughout the night, that over time can contribute to cardiovascular disease. We see that it contributes to atherosclerosis, contributes to high blood pressure, it can contribute to arrhythmias, heart attack, and stroke. And so the more often you're sort of suffering from this over time, it can have an impact on health. And so then the concern is if this is going on week over week and you're unaware, is that contributing to diminished health over time?
So what are the tips that can be put in place to combat this?
So one to combat it would be trying to keep a consistent schedule and being mindful of sort of weekends and weekdays and maybe trying to keep those as close together as you can, being mindful of how many alcoholic drinks you may be having on the weekend, making sure you're not staying up too late. So the more consistent we can keep our sleep schedules and day schedules, the more opportunity there would be then to see, hey, do I feel healthy on a consistent basis, or am I feeling unhealthy on a consistent basis? And it might help to diagnose whether the condition is present or not.
Dr. Vikas Jain is a sleep medicine physician with Dream Sleep Medicine in Frisco and medical director of the Pediatric Sleep Institute. Yesterday, the City of Mission and Texas Citrus Fiesta held the Legacy in Bloom, a grapefruit tree dedication and reopening ceremony of the Texas Citrus Fiesta building.
Parade season, people would come help with, logistics, mapping, but now we want it to be a welcoming place for all events. So whether it's, our product costume show, we do workshops here now, something that, a nice space for everyone to just collectively come together.
That was Fiesta President Amanda Salinas Ocaña speaking with Valley Central News. The ceremony featured the symbolic planting of a grapefruit tree and the unveiling of updates to the historic Texas Citrus Fiesta building. And in the Rio Grande Valley, this year's Clear the Shelters initiative has come to a close with hundreds of pets who have found their forever homes. Valley Central News reported final numbers showing over 700 pets were adopted in 1 month. Clear the Shelters also features an extended fundraising event through September 15th. More information at cleartheshelters.com. And that is the latest news and information on South Texas Midday. I'm Rob Boskamp. Your community arts calendar and more is on the way.